The shooting of two citizens on 23 December 2020 by alleged police officers has been a topical issue of recent in the country. The shootings happened when leader of the opposition United Party for National Development UPND Hakainde Hichilema went to report to the police headquarters for questioning, and two citizens, namely a UPND supporter Joseph Kaunda and Nsamansama Chipyoka, a state prosecutor, were shot dead during the confusion that occurred. To this effect, the head of state demanded for a report from Police Inspector General Kakoma Kanganja to conduct investigations and give an account of what transpired that day by Monday, 28 December 2020. After receiving a preliminary report, President Edgar Lungu made changes to the Zambia Police Force. Some of the changes include the termination of contract and replacement of Deputy Inspector General of Police Operations Boni Kapeso, the non-renewal of contracts for Deputy Inspector General of Police Administration Eugene Sibote, and Lusaka Province Police Commissioner Nelson Piri, among others. The head of state also gave Police Inspector General Kakoma Kanganja a 6-month contract to reshape the Zambia Police Service and regain public confidence. Some political activists, however, have expressed disappointment that the entire top administration has not been replaced. Executive Director for the Alliance for Community Action, Laura Miti, and McDonald Chipenzi, who is Governance, Elections, Advocacy, Research Services GEAR's Executive Director, said this to Muvi TV News in separate interviews.
The changes that President Lungu made to the Police High Command make very little sense, given that it is under Inspector General Kangaja and Minister of Home Affairs Stephen Kampiongo that we have had multiple deaths at the hands of reckless policing. What we need is for the Minister of Home Affairs and the IG to be fired. And then we can start talking about reorganizing the police.
There's nothing exciting about the changes that have been made by the president with regard to the Zambia Police Service, because those are cosmetic changes, and changing the juniors and leaving the head of the institution doesn't even make any logical sense, in the sense that any failure of any institution is basically falls on the head himself or herself. But when you attribute the failures and the loss of confidence to the juniors, then one wonders really what parameters were used for the president to come up with such kind of a decision. So the decision itself is ill done, in as much as we agree that changes in the police service were overdue. We expected that the president would have removed the entire team and bring in a new team. But removing the juniors and leave the head of the institutions definitely is not making any sense. Further, as long as the institutional setup and the legal framework remains the same, that governs the police, the Zambia Police Service, we are not likely to see anything tangible in terms of change in the way the police are behaving. You cannot. This is what Jesus was saying: new wine in the old skin, in the old bottles. It doesn't work. It will burst. So you can't work with a new team when you are an old person. And the failures that the president wants you to resolve in 6 months have been your failures in the last 5 months, 5 years. So how do you really think that you can change the police service in the next 6 months, which you have failed in the last 5 years?
Well, Alex Ngoma, who is also a political analyst, has called on citizens and concerned parties to give the head of state a benefit of doubt with the reshuffles. It is the appeal of Muvi Television that the head of state clearly stipulates what changes are expected to be seen in 6 months' time, for it to serve as a measurement of whether the police force has been reformed or not. Zipporah Mushala, Muvi TV News, Lusaka.